Up next on Eco Company.
Chickens in high school?
This black and white one right here is Tuffy. Right here we have Lizzie Bruin, and this is Too Tall just because he has taller red thing.
They're just one of the things these guys are raising at their school, including a garden that they built from the ground up.
Then, so your school has a garden, but does it have one of these?
So we're gonna do something like that, you see?
Building your very own compost bin. These teens are showing us how it's done.
Plus, forget about heading to the mall after school. These green teens are spending their time outdoors. Bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation. We check in with a program that's turning teens into teachers.
And ready for some pedal power? These guys are. And this isn't the only way these students are greening up their campus. They even have a monster lurking about. All that and more on Eco Company.
Starting right now.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Eco Company. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Brendan. And today we're visiting high schools and meeting with teens that have a passion for the planet.
Yeah, and first up, we met up with some teens from right here at Woodside High School who are getting to work outside while school is in session.
They created their own outdoor classroom by building a garden and from the ground up.
And now they're sharing the fruits of their labor.
Shaking things up, sanding them down, and rounding up some feathery friends.
Like they were just kind of sitting in one of the beds.
Not what we'd call your average day at school.
We're gonna lift up and over.
Unless you're a student at Woodside High's Green Academy in Northern California. The Green Academy is a school within a school, and it gets students outside to really dig into environmental issues.
This class, we work out here in the garden, which is great. It's just nice to be outside on a beautiful day like this.
It's a 3-year program for sophomores through seniors. Marin Aldrich coordinates the program.
Our focus here is environmental issues.
Environmental issues like replacing fossil fuels with two-wheeled transportation and using renewable energies like solar power, even out here.
So we'll be using these to charge the battery that's in the back, and it will power the lights during the winter to keep the chickens warm.
We caught Cassie Lamphere and Minda Newhouse on roundup duty.
This black and white one right here is Tuffy. Right here we have Lizzie Bruin, and this is Too Tall just because he has taller red thing.
These chickens have the students to thank for the garden and very roof over their head. Eric Cisna and his classmates built all of this themselves.
We basically filled in all these wood chips and filled the garden beds with soil. We built the chicken coop. I mean, it was basically nothing up here.
Everything you see growing up was just dirt and like poison oak at some point.
It was endless work and very inspiring to see the students do all the work. Eric, why don't you come around to this side?
Making sure these guys have all the tools they need is part of Josh Rubin's job as a teacher at the academy.
Everybody's in charge of a certain plot of land, and they're given a full semester to grow their crops and hopefully produce as much food as possible to share with the class, to let the students take the food home.
So what's growing here? Just about everything.
So we have fruit trees just planted around here. This is a lime tree. They were planted last year, so they're not very big yet, but in a couple of years they'll get big and they'll start producing fruit.
And you can tell these guys like their tomatoes.
Yeah, we planted a lot of tomatoes.
And who doesn't love a pumpkin?
So these are not even as big as they're gonna get. They're still gonna get much bigger.
They even have peas growing on an arbor the students built.
It makes us really happy to see that we built something like that in the garden.
Today they've spent the day clearing out these beds, and now it's time to plant some broccoli. And they make the compost right here too.
These leaves, which were gathered around the school, that we're composting now, instead of having to just sit around, we're turning them into soil and putting them back in our beds.
We built this up with our own hands. We were there when we planted in the seedlings, and now that we get to eat the tomatoes, now that we get to eat the squash, and now we get to experience it. It's very heartfelt to be here almost, because it's kind of been like our home.
Now the only thing that seems to be missing is the barn. But wait, they've got that too. This is the bike barn, and it's a busy place these days.
So I like to call it the recycle shop. We're recycling bicycles.
We're taking in bikes that people donate to us, and we're fixing them up and getting people to ride bikes every day to school. instead of using the cars.
Julio Vargas manages the shop and makes sure repairs run smoothly. Bikes they can't fix get taken apart, and their parts are recycled too.
Well, I love being in the Green Academy because we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint and make the planet greener.
It's all a part of the Academy's mission to educate and inspire these teens to make a difference.
If we didn't have trees and stuff, and if everything just died because there was a huge layer of like CO2 over the world, we wouldn't even be here. Like, this wouldn't even be happening.
People don't know their environmental impact and what they're doing to the planet. You know, we could end up destroying the planet.
We're the generation where we have been handed down a lot of issues and a lot of problems. So in school especially, to be educated on environmental issues and the environmental impacts that we're going to be encountering today, I think it's so important because we want to save this beautiful place that we have. Go Green Academy!
You know, composting is a great way to do something positive with food scraps or other organic matter by providing valuable nutrients to a garden. Well, we met up with some teens from Woodside High School who are building their own compost bin. Brendan pays them a visit to learn firsthand how it's done.
All right, guys, today we're on a high school campus where some students are putting some muscle into the garden. Let's go check out what they're doing.
So we're gonna do something like that, you see? So we're gonna kind of lay out our 3 bins together, but we're just gonna use these pallets.
It may be after school,
Maybe we'll do a lower one too, down here and down here.
but these students from the Jewish Community High School of the Bay in San Francisco aren't headed home. They're headed into the garden. They're building a compost bin with some help from Jonathan Silverman,
Good job.
founder of Feel the Earth.
They're gonna design it, they're gonna build it, they're gonna put it together, and then we're gonna actually start the decomposition process.
9th grader Pavla Bergenwolf is a member of the Eco Club. So Pavla, what are we doing here today?
Well, today we're building a compost system to go along with our garden. Right now we're planting lettuce, we have broccoli growing.
It'll be great because we won't have to buy our soil anymore, and it's providing really nutrient-rich, high quality soil, which we can start using.
Keep doing the holes.
Talk to me about the teenagers that are working here today. Roni Ben David is director of student activities here.
Well, they come from the environmental club. We have a morning gardening program. A group of about 16 teens from different grades come together each morning, and we build the raised beds, we work in the garden, we talk about the food system and the role that food plays in community and food justice issues.
Something that's important to 12th grader Netzach Miller.
Sustainable agriculture and sustainable living in general is really important to me. So having a compost system is like the epitome of sustainable. You're taking your waste, your garbage, and you're turning it into soil, which you can use to generate new, fresh, organic crops locally without having to import it from far away, without having to spend gas and other natural resources.
We'll bring it to there, and we'd cut a line across. The most important thing I can do by working with students is to really empower them. Because what the next step is going to be is we're going to grab U-nails and we're going to start hammering them in, like boom. If I can teach them, engage with them, have them kind of understand how they can make a difference, then it's going to be a huge impact on the future of the world.
So John, take me through all these things that are going to go into the compost bin.
Sure, absolutely, Brandon. So the idea is the first layer is going to be this straw bale. And we're going to go about 4 inches up from the ground in that bin. And then we're going to go move into the browns, into the carbons. And we're going to do about 4 inches of this or so. And then we're going to focus on the greens over here, which are the green material and the plant waste. Whoa! And what you do is every time you kind of layer it on, we water. But one thing we're going to do to activate it is we're going to add a little soil on top of each layer to help speed up the process of decomposition. This is the finished product. Put your hands on it. Tell me what it feels like.
So this is what we put plants in and stuff, right? Wow, it's extremely soft.
Yeah, this is aged probably about over a year. This is really valuable. It's so rich in so many minerals and nutrients.
All right, well, let's go see it all get made.
Let's do it.
10th grader Elijah Jatovsky thinks this compost bin is a great idea.
It's a nice product, and it's nice that our school finally has a way to compost all of the excess food after lunch.
So what is the ultimate goal of getting all this compost?
Well, we plan to expand the garden and we'll put the compost in our expanded garden.
I'm really impressed with the work they've done today. They're hands-on, enthusiastic, and very much involved in the process.
Well, looks like a job well done. Here's what's coming up next on the show.
So what do you guys do after school?
If you're these guys, you head outdoors to teach.
The fish want to eat you, okay? So you just want to go as long as you can without being tagged. Supper time for the fishes, go!
It's a lesson you can't get in class.
And later, need some fresh ideas to get your school to go green? We're willing to bet these guys have a few.
So you want this as a headband, right?
And that includes one for you fashionistas out there. Plus, a green way to shake things up.
That and more straight ahead on Eco Company.
Next up, students with a passion for marine biology.
Well, that doesn't sound like a fun after-school activity.
Well, we're not just talking about classroom experiments.
These kids are headed outdoors, and Jelena catches up with them.
You're about to meet some teens who love the great outdoors. In fact, they're out here right now sharing their passion for the planet. Let's go meet them.
This isn't your ordinary game of tag. And these kids aren't really kids. They're sea life.
Supper time for the fishes, go!
And this is a lesson in marine biology. The guys making the rules,
I love it. You've all got food chain signs ready to go and you're ready to teach.
high school students.
Bioaccumulation.
They're part of the team program at the Headlands Institute. It's part of the nonprofit organization Nature Bridge.
It's our mission to connect young people to the natural world.
Adam Schraft heads up the youth program.
They're basically here learning about environmental education and what it's like to be an environmental educator.
Being in nature, it's just so wonderful. I really love being out here. So can any of you guys think of something that might be on the bottom of the food chain in the ocean? Something that might be a producer?
17-year-old Elspeth Mathau loves it so much, she's on her second year out here. Twice a week, teens meet up with younger students after school.
Their job here each week is to come out and teach EcoAthletics, which are interactive games, tag games that teach about the environment to younger students.
The fish want to eat you, okay? So you just want to go as long as you can without being tagged. And supper time for the fish, go!
This game's all about teaching kids how toxins can move up the ocean food chain.
Well, the game's called Deadly Links, and it's all about bioaccumulation in the ocean, and they have to count how many toxins they have each time they move up the level of the food chain. The plankton, who had the numbers, had toxins in them, and those numbers represented the amount of toxins inside of their system. So we're just trying to show them that every time you go from a really small prey to a predator, toxins will accumulate inside of them.
Eventually, that food ends up in our food chain.
So why are you passionate about the environment?
Well, humans are a part of nature, and we really need to protect it if we want to survive and if we want to be healthy. We need to keep the earth healthy.
Now, there's more to this place than what you see here.
They even have a marine lab, and I hear there's starfish in there. Let's go check it out. I know the code.
This lab is home to starfish, mussels, fish, and much more. And the interns get the job of feeding these critters. Of course, these guys don't all eat the same thing. There's your basic fish food, kelp, some squid, and then there's this stuff.
So what's in here?
Well, that's a good question. So this is oyster egg fluid, and we spray it in both tanks, and a lot of the bottom feeder animals will eat that.
Oh, and what about this one?
It's called phytoplankton fluid, and that's a special food for mussels.
Luckily, I've arrived just in time for their dinner.
So Jelena, what would you like to feed today?
I would like to feed the purple sea urchins over there.
Sea urchins, you got it.
So Adam, what do I do here?
Okay, so go ahead and just find yourself a piece of kelp there.
Okay.
Take one right out of the tank there, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna drop it really carefully onto one of the urchins until you see that they take it, until you see their spikes start to move, and then they're gonna actually bring it around to their mouths. They'll carry it around, so you can see how the spikes are just starting to move a little bit.
So does that one eat it?
It looks like it's going. You can kind of see it start to slide down there.
How do I feed a sea star?
Their stomachs are actually in the middle, and maybe in a minute we can find one I can show you. but you want to try and drop it as close to the middle as possible or on one of those tube feet and see if it'll pick it up.
Oh, let me try a tube foot.
Okay, so I think I'll leave the rest to these guys.
What's your favorite part about team?
The marine lab, actually, and I like pushing myself to feed all the animals and get to know them because some of them are kind of aggressive and scary. Seriously, like some of the fish, I don't want to like touch them or anything, but I'm getting over that. So.
Just being out here is really wonderful because I really enjoy being here and just learning about the environment and nature.
Intern Maya Shamir said it's up to young people to pass on what they've learned.
Even when I was little, which wasn't that far back ago, there wasn't that much in education about it, and so we didn't know how important it was. And we're at a time where kids really need to grow up with it, and so they know like how their future will be affected by it.
So why do you think it's important to have teens doing this?
I think it's really important for young folks such as yourself to see environmental education as a viable career, and to see teaching about the environment not just to be teaching about science, but to see that it's important to make a connection with the natural world for young people so that we can actually inspire them to want to take care of it, to be stewards.
And that's just what these guys plan to do.
So what's lurking in your high school hallway? Probably not this guy. One high school gets a visit from the plastic bag monster.
More Eco Company is coming up. Lots of schools have one environmental club these days, but try having two.
We visited a San Francisco high school where one club just wasn't enough.
Today is our Abraham Lincoln High School Earth Day, and it's where all the Green Academy and like Eagle Club have presentations about the environment to get more students aware about how their actions affect the environment.
You want it black, right? So you want this as a headband, right? I'm Inez Vara, and I'm a member of the 10th grade Green Academy at Abraham Lincoln High School. We call ourselves the Green Ambassadors, so we're teaching small, green, doable solutions.
This is about 500 bags on this suit, and an average person uses about 500 bags in a year, in just 1 year. And we're trying to get everyone to use reusable bags.
To see my students really engaged and really passionate and really knowledgeable about something, and have them glow and want to share this information, I feel like this is why I'm here. I'm Vanessa Carter, and I work with the Environmental Service Learning Initiative, which is a 2-year pilot program here in San Francisco City Schools. They've been developing these projects, and this is their opportunity to take action and educate their community. So this is their showcase.
My name is Hanson Hong, and I'm a member of the Abraham Lincoln High School Eco Club. Right now, I'm giving out free bags to let people know about the environment and how our diet affects it.
We've got other groups that have been looking at food, whether that's about organic agriculture or thinking about local food, urban farms.
Our school applied for a $100,000 grant to rebuild our school and make it a green schoolyard.
Yeah, actually we just talked to a couple of students right now, and they say they were really excited and they actually wanted to help us participate in the planning and the construction and everything.
We've got another group who has been focusing on zero waste and thinking about how can we avoid putting anything into the landfill so that there is no waste, because really we're beginning to understand that there's no way.
I think all of these colors look pretty good. It's called upcycled fashion. So like what upcycled fashion is, kind of like recycle, but it's upcycle. When you buy things, use it to its highest potential. Because like most people use it like maybe once or twice or 3 times, and then they just throw it away. And then what? Today our whole thing was to get people to make them too, to show that it's not hard to do. So we just need a little bit more.
I think that this is an opportunity for us to reconfirm how powerful young people are and how much their voices matter.
Reusable bags are the future, and plastic bags are pretty much our past.
People think like, oh, I'm just one person. Like, how am I supposed to make an impact on the world? When you really can, when it's just like one small thing, like what we're doing today.
We as the children, future generations, should be being more aware of the environment and the things we do and how it affects it.
If your campus is doing something to go green,
We want to hear about it.
grab your video camera and start rolling.
Create a video and upload it to our website at eco-company.tv.
That wraps things up this week on Eco Company. Thanks for tuning in.
For more information on the stories in our show, head to our website at eco-company.tv.
And remember, you too can be a part of the solution
We'll see you next time
on Eco Company.